Hey, it's Maxwell here, and I'm going to take you through my song Little Bit Wild featuring Mallrat. The way I made this song was I kind of, sometimes I'll have a vague idea of a type of song I want to make. Maybe it's like the tempo or the feeling, but it's usually quite vague, and I'll have a few attempts at making it. And then what I find is I like the chorus from this one, and I like the drums from this one. Oh, and this synth and that one's really cool. And I try and collage it together. And that's kind of where all the bulk of the work is, just through like trying to get the structure right and cutting parts. And so, yeah, A Little Bit Wild is kind of like, it's made up of two songs. And but this is what A Little Bit Wild sounds like.
You'll be right at home. Either way, you'll be right at home.
Hey, little big wild, like a big child with your big eyes, yeah. Had a big night, lots of big dreams, lots of big life.
So, Mallrat, his name is Grace. Grace and I wrote the chorus for A Little Bit Wild back in September 2018. It's like 2 years ago. She was house sitting for Cub Sport, and I came over, and we usually just kind of like write like a lot of, they're almost like half ideas, or like, you know, something for us to individually take home later. And we made like a few that day, and this was the last one, and it just started raining, so we called the song Rainy, which is really not that special. But so kind of when we made this, we envisioned there being someone doing the verses, not me. It was maybe going to be a Mallrat song or someone else featuring Mallrat, and so I kind of made the drums a little bit more like hip hop, I guess. Like, I don't know, there's like an 808 in there, like a, you know, like a trap clap. But yeah, when I took we kind of finished up for the day, and I went home, and I was like, oh, there's something really, really cool about that chorus. Just had something in it, and I was like, I'm just gonna like try and make a song using that, like kind of keep this idea going, and I'll send it to Grace, and maybe she'll hate it, or maybe she'll think it's cool. I'll just do it either way, because it's, so I don't know, it's just nice to make stuff sometimes without having like an end goal. Okay, so this is the second version of that idea that we originally made. So I recorded a verse, which sounds like this.
For whatever reason you see fit, keep it tight-lipped. Keep it tight-lipped.
Hey, little big wild, like a big child with your big eyes.
And I felt pretty cool about it. Like, it was a good step in the right direction. And so it kind of made the short list of like potential ideas for the album. But yeah, there's just not something quite right there. Also at the end of the song we had this big kind of vocal ooh section, which I eventually cut, but for a while that was kind of like how the song ended. It sounded like this. Yeah, so that's kind of where that song, I think there was 4 versions of that song. This is just the first 2, but I was just trying to like figure out how it worked. And I think like March or April in 2019, so I like more than 6 months later, I was with the Nicholas, with my friend Raka, and we made a song which I think is just called Click 97. It doesn't actually have a name. And it was really cool, and but I just couldn't get the chorus right, and I spent like a whole week going for walks trying to write lyrics and sing ideas, and I'll show you how that sounds. It sounds like this.
Get up nice and early, you won't miss the bus. Stay up nice and late and you could get a buzz. Either way, you'll be right at home. Guess I'll stay now.
And then this part's the chorus. I didn't really like.
Past and the moment has passed. If you get a chance, just say it at last. Stand still, maybe just stop.
It's like not bad, but it just wasn't like catchy or that interesting. Like it was, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like, I have like a bit, like I really like cutting things that are good but not great. I'm like, let's get rid of it. I kind of get like a weird sense of joy out of doing that. But anyway, I was sitting on both those songs, and I have like I think I pulled it up. Yeah, like I make like a short list, and so if an idea gets two X's, it's kind of like, oh, there's something here that's cool. If it gets one X, it's like, oh, maybe it's worth listening to again. And if it gets three X's, it makes the cut, and there's like pretty much the album. So I give that song a 2X rating, and I kind of realized that they were only 3 BPM apart, and they kind of had that same feeling, kind of like I was talking about a few minutes ago. Just like I was trying to make a similar song, and then I realized that I could just merge them together. Cool. So the song starts with this keys part here, which is it's from like the Arturia DX7 VST, which I don't actually own. I still have the demo version of it, which gives you only 20 minutes, and then you have to like freeze whatever you've done before your 20 minutes is up. I think the patch is called Fluttering Celeste or something like that, and I tweaked it a little bit. But I came up with these chords when I was with Grace like 2 years ago. It sounds like this. I think there's like a little bit of a delay on there from the VST, which kind of gives it like a bit of rhythm, I guess. Also, we got like an ambient recording from the original recording day, which sounds like this. You can kind of hear the chords in the background, and there's like it was raining, so we got that. That's just in there quietly, and then Grace's vocals.
I was fine until it was time to feel. Hit me like a truck, really woke me up. Love to get in.
Also from that original demo was this reversed guitar sample, which is from Rucker. I can show you how that sounds originally. I think I reversed it and also slowed it down, but just something nice that Rat sent, and just reversed it, and it has this kind of nice rhythm to it. So that happens through a lot of the song, as you can see. There's also a part where I use it as like a riser, where I pitch it up, and I pitch it up an octave, and I kind of EQ, like let the highs slowly filter in. So it's pretty much the intro of the song, and then when my verse comes in, some more things are introduced. It's really simple. We deleted a lot of stuff that we were trying to fit into the song, but I'm also a big fan of songs that aren't really led by a really intense bass. There's bass guitar that comes in at the end of the song, and I kind of wanted that to be like to fill the whole, I don't know, spectrum of frequencies. And so I used this sound to carry the bass notes but not have that kind of like real deep low end, which sounds like this. And that's actually a car, like a alarm from a car when you open it. And what I like about this sample is sometimes, like you'll see it plays, and there's two notes, and so sometimes you'll be holding it, and the second note will come in at kind of like a irregular timing, and so you get these, so I don't know, kind of weird rhythm sometimes because of that. But I just put a little bit of decapitator on there, and with most things, there's the sidechain, which is connected to the kick. I grabbed this little part of Grace's vocals, which come in around my verse, and I'm pretty sure we just used like a gated reverb from Valhalla. My vocals sound like this. These are the original ones.
Get up nice and early, you won't miss the bus. Stay up nice and late and you could get a buzz.
Yeah, it's kind of just that, the reverse guitar,
Get up nice and early, you won't
and
miss
then the
the
synth.
bus.
When it gets into the chorus, I have Grace's vocals doubled.
Little bit wild, like a big child with your big eyes.
Sure, a little bit more roomy.
Had a big night, lots of
And
big
that's the main
dreams,
vocal.
lots of big lights, yeah.
I recorded some bass guitar and pitched it up an octave. Kind of just like something nice rhythmic in the chorus. And so this is guitar from the second idea, which was the Click 97 idea. I'm going to pass on to Rut to talk about how he does that. He uses a sampler.
All right, so this is a Roland 404. It's a sampler, and what I like to do is record a bunch of random samples onto the 404. The only thing they have in common is that I record them in the same key. I'll give you a little example of that. This is a little sine synth I recorded earlier. So it's a little bit of a lucky accident machine, you know, sometimes these samples work together and sometimes they don't. And then there's really cool effects on here that you can manipulate the sound with. Make it a little glitchy. And then if I have something I think sounds cool, I'll grab either a guitar or a keyboard and try to find some chords that work well with it.
Yeah, so we did this big long recording. Like, I don't even know how long it goes for. It's pretty long, and I went in and I found little parts that I really liked, and that's what these sound like. So yeah, so for instance, like this one, I use this. It's just like an EQ3 preset called Midnight, and I've EQ'd it quite harshly, as you can see. If I take that off, I kind of EQ'd it quite harshly because I wanted the bass to be carried from that synth, and I didn't want them to conflict. But yeah, so like this long recording, it just played for ages, and I just found the parts that I liked and cut them in a way like across 3 channels that seemed to work. And then with the EQs back on. So the drums, they kind of revolve around this break that I found. Usually I would be very quick to cut up a break so that it has a bit of uniqueness to it, but yeah, for some reason, every time I tried to cut this break into different parts, it kind of lost its energy. And so I ended up just using the whole break, which to me is kind of cheating, but I don't know, whatever. So this is the break. And then I layered it with kick and a snap. And then these shakers. And the song was kind of feeling pretty good, but I went to Amsterdam a year ago, and Rutger happened to be back home. He's Dutch, but he lives in America. But he was home, and we did a few days together. And we wrote a couple of more songs off the album. But we opened this song, and we just felt like it needed something instrumental, kind of carrying the song. And Rut came up with this guitar part, which we recorded through some pedals that he owned. Also, while I was in Amsterdam, Rut's brother is a really good drummer. His name's Victor, and he's also like incredible at miking drums, which is something that I have absolutely no idea about. And we did half a day with him and recorded drums, and I've used it, I think, on maybe 4 or 5 songs from the album. But he recorded drums for A Little Bit Wild, which sound like this. And then also at the end of the song, added like a ride and a hi-hat. What else really happens in the song? Oh, there's this sound at the end, which again is another sound from that DX7 VST that I froze. Also at the end of the song I recorded bass guitar, which sounds a bit like this. And I used microshift, the heavy shift setting. I feel like sometimes if you put a little bit of chorus on bass, it just kind of helps it fit into the mix a bit better, and then use Decapitator and sidechained it. And there's this really good delay on Grace's doubles in this part. This is just me changing the mix and the echo time on the Echo Boy. And the final thing at the end of the song is I have the drums filter, and I use the RC20 just to kind of filter it and make it sound a bit different to the part just before it. And then I found this little voice memo from when Grace and I were writing another song, and it sounds a bit like this. And I really like trying to make outros interesting. Just something new in there that just keeps you kind of like, you're like, oh, like if I listen to the song, I'll get to hear this really unique part that only exists at the end of the song. And so that's kind of what I use that for. I think that's true. Yeah, it's such a simple song. There were like a whole lot of ideas that didn't make the cut, and these are the ones that did make the cut, and we just tried to make it as simple as possible. I think that the guitars that Rutger recorded really ride the song, and yeah, that's it. Hope that helped.